Matt Robertson was 32 years old, with the kind of lean athletic build that came more from genetics than discipline. He worked in an office, wore crisp shirts and well-fitted pants, and had the quiet confidence of a man who had been attractive his whole adult life without ever making a show of it. Married for 6 years to Daniela, a striking brunette with blue eyes and a curvy hourglass figure, Matt's life had fallen into a pleasant, predictable routine until the day he joined the new fitness center. The gym was bright, modern, and buzzing with energy even in the evening. Matt's eyes wandered as he signed the papers at the front desk, taking in the staff and regulars. Everyone seemed unusually fit, almost as if the gym had a hidden requirement for good looks. The receptionist, Megan, with long auburn hair and a quick, dazzling smile, introduced him to his personal trainer for the evening. Ashley Hayden, 26, stepped forward with an outstretched hand and an easy grin. She was the kind of woman who made an impression instantly. Tall, her athletic figure accentuated by high-waisted slate-grey leggings and a cropped white sports top that revealed a hint of toned midriff. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, stray strands framing her delicate face with striking green eyes. Under the top, the subtle lines of a supportive sports bra could be seen. Her form was both feminine and powerful, with small high breasts and a pert, tight butt outlined by her leggings. If Matt noticed the faint line of light grey panties under the fabric, he did not let it show. The session began with simple introductions and fitness assessments. Ashley's tone was friendly, professional, but playful, and Matt soon found himself responding in kind. The gym slowly emptied as the hour grew later. Ashley corrected his posture with a gentle touch on his back, a brush of her fingertips on his arms or shoulders. Each touch felt deliberate, but not inappropriate, sending an electric tingle up his spine. She watched him closely, occasionally biting her lower lip as she observed his movements. When the workout ended, Ashley invited Matt to join her for the gym's informal client dinner, a weekly gathering of regulars and trainers. The lounge area was cozy, with warm lighting and a buffet of healthy food laid out. Matt hesitated, glancing at his phone, but decided Daniela would not mind if he was a little late. He texted her a vague message about working late. As dinner wound down and other guests left, Ashley lingered. She now wore a loose zip-up hoodie over her workout top, but the shape of her figure remained evident. They laughed easily, conversation flowing from work to travel to favorite foods, and eventually to more personal topics. The lounge was nearly empty now. Ashley rose, stretching, the movement lifting her hoodie just enough to reveal the subtle line where her sports bra ended and her smooth skin began. "You look tense," she said. "Want a quick stretch before you go?" Matt nodded, and she led him to a quiet alcove with a massage table, half hidden behind a tall rack of towels. The soft light cast gentle shadows across the space. Ashley motioned for him to sit. He did, feeling suddenly shy. She stood behind him, placing her hands on his shoulders, thumbs pressing in gentle circles. Her hands were strong but warm, her touch relaxing. Her fingers drifted lower, tracing the tense lines along his neck and back. Her body was close, so close he could feel the heat of her skin through her clothes. Her chest pressed lightly against his back, and he caught the soft scent of her shampoo. For a moment, neither of them spoke. He turned his head slightly, and their eyes met in the mirror across the alcove. Ashley leaned in, her lips brushing his ear, her breath warm. "Do you want me to stop?" she whispered. Matt shook his head, feeling his pulse quicken. He stood, turning to face her. Their faces were inches apart. Ashley's eyes searched his. Her lips parted just slightly. In one slow, inevitable movement, he leaned in, their lips meeting in a tentative kiss, soft at first, then deepening as she pressed against him. His hands found her waist, feeling the firm curve beneath the hoodie and top. She melted into his touch, arms looping around his neck, pulling him closer. The kiss grew more urgent, hungry, but still restrained. Ashley broke away for a second, eyes bright, cheeks flushed. She unzipped her hoodie, letting it fall. The white top clung to her, highlighting the outline of her sports bra, the gentle swell of her breasts. Matt ran his hand down her back, fingertips tracing the seam of her leggings, lingering at the small of her back where her body curved in. They stood together for what felt like ages, exploring each other in the dim light. Hands and lips, whispers and soft gasps. Matt felt his doubts dissolve in the heat of her touch, lost in the moment. Eventually, Ashley stepped back, chest rising and falling as she caught her breath. "I should get going," she said softly. Her smile was mischievous, but tinged with something else. Uncertainty, perhaps. Matt nodded, unable to speak. He left the gym with his head spinning. Outside, the night was cool and quiet. He texted Daniela that he was on his way home. She did not reply right away. For the first time in years, Matt felt the dangerous thrill of the unknown. Something had shifted. He knew the night at the gym would not be easily forgotten. He drove home, replaying every detail in his mind. Ashley's eyes, her touch, the way she made him feel. Desired, chosen, alive. Daniela was already in bed when he arrived. She turned as he slipped in beside her, studying his face in the half-light. "You're late," she said quietly. There was no accusation in her voice, just curiosity. Matt smiled and kissed her cheek. "Just work," he lied. But as he lay awake long after she drifted off, Matt wondered if his old life was about to change forever. The days that followed were a study in careful balance. Matt kept to his routines. Office, home, gym. But he moved through them as if something inside him had awakened. The memory of Ashley's lips, her warmth, and that fleeting moment of risk replayed in his mind with every heartbeat. He started to visit the gym more often, always scheduling sessions with Ashley. Daniela, his wife, noticed. She was 30 years old, her beauty mature and well cared for. Her long dark hair always styled to perfection. Her blue eyes clear and bright. Daniela's wardrobe was the envy of her friends. Tailored dresses that accentuated her full bust and slim waist. Soft sweaters paired with pencil skirts. and always subtle, expensive lingerie beneath. That night, after Matt's first encounter with Ashley, Daniela wore a midnight blue satin nightgown that clung to her curves. Her third-size breasts filled the fabric with elegant fullness, and when she turned, the shape of her hips was outlined in the dim bedroom light. She asked no questions, but her eyes followed Matt as if she was searching for something in his expression. Matt, though, was distracted, almost obsessed. Each workout with Ashley felt charged with secret meaning, like a conversation carried out half in words, half in stolen glances. Ashley kept to her usual sporty attire, black leggings hugging her tight, rounded butt, and tank tops in bright colors, cut low enough to tease, but never quite reveal. Sometimes he caught a glimpse of her pale blue or lilac sports bras, and when she bent to adjust equipment, the faint outline of soft panties visible beneath. She never wore makeup, her golden hair pulled up in a high ponytail. But her athletic grace drew glances from every man in the gym. Other clients began to notice the chemistry between them, whispering with knowing smiles. Matt felt at once exposed and alive. He and Ashley grew bolder in their flirtation. Inside jokes, shared secrets, hands that lingered too long on a shoulder or wrist. One evening, after a particularly intense circuit, Ashley suggested they stay for dinner again. The cafeteria was nearly empty. Ashley sat across from Matt, dressed in fitted navy shorts and a slim zip-up coral jacket over a neon pink sports bra. When she leaned forward, her cleavage, small but high and enticing, was framed by the edge of the bra and a thin silver necklace that rested between her collarbones. As they talked, the lights grew softer, the room quieter. Matt found himself sharing stories he had never told anyone. Old dreams, small fears, frustrations about work, even gentle complaints about the routines of married life. Ashley listened, green eyes warm and understanding, her smile reassuring. She told him about her own life, her passion for sports, her struggle to find real connection in a world obsessed with appearance. A silence fell. Ashley reached across the table, her fingers grazing Matt's wrist. "Let's go somewhere more private," she whispered. She led him through a hallway to the staff locker room, swiping her access card. The room was clean and bright, lined with benches and open lockers, a faint scent of lavender from cleaning spray lingering in the air. Ashley sat on a bench and kicked off her shoes, then pulled her legs up, hugging her knees in a way that made her look both strong and vulnerable. Matt sat beside her, uncertain. She studied him for a long moment. "Are you happy, Matt?" she asked softly. He hesitated. "I thought I was." Ashley leaned closer, her voice low. "It's okay to want more." Without warning, she stood, unzipping her jacket and letting it fall behind her. The neon pink sports bra hugged her chest, straps thin, fabric pressed to her skin. The curve of her breasts was visible, the outline of her nipples faint beneath the fabric. Her navy shorts fit snugly on her hips, emphasizing the shape of her thighs and butt. She moved between his legs, standing above him, her hands sliding onto his shoulders. Matt looked up, meeting her gaze. She brushed a lock of hair from her face and bent, her lips finding his in a soft, lingering kiss. The world seemed to slow. Ashley straddled the bench, knees on either side of him, her arms wrapping around his neck. He let his hands rest on her waist, feeling the heat of her skin through the thin fabric. Ashley's breath quickened. She pressed closer, her body molding to his, and their kisses grew deeper, more urgent. Her fingers slid under his shirt, exploring the lines of his back and chest. She pulled back, eyes bright, cheeks flushed, and smiled a slow, teasing smile. "Take off your shirt," she whispered. Matt obeyed, suddenly nervous and exhilarated. Ashley traced her fingertips down his chest, then leaned in and kissed his neck. Her lips, soft and warm. He could feel her heartbeat racing. Her hands drifted lower, exploring, lingering at the waistband of his pants, but never crossing the line. Ashley shifted, bringing his hands to her back, letting him explore the soft dip of her spine and the way her sports bra fastened. For a few moments, they were lost in the gentle tension, a careful dance of lips and hands and quiet laughter. There was no hurry, only the promise of more, the thrill of something forbidden, the way her body felt pressed against his. Finally, Ashley pulled away, resting her forehead against his. "Not here," she murmured. "Not yet." Matt breathed deeply, forcing his heart to slow. Ashley slipped back into her jacket, covering herself with practiced ease. They left the locker room in silence, hearts pounding. Matt felt dazed, both ashamed and liberated. He wondered if Ashley really meant it, or if she was simply playing a game. The lines between reality and fantasy were blurring. The next morning, as he dressed for work, Matt found himself staring at his reflection longer than usual. Daniela appeared behind him, her long hair tumbling over her shoulder. Her blue silk robe opened just enough to reveal a matching set of flesh-tone lace lingerie. Delicate, expensive, accentuating her full breasts and soft curves. She wrapped her arms around him from behind, resting her chin on his shoulder. "You're distracted lately," she said, her voice gentle. Matt smiled tightly. "Just work, and maybe a bit of gym exhaustion." She kissed his cheek, studying his face in the mirror. "You know you can talk to me, right?" He nodded, but his mind was already back at the gym with Ashley. That night, after another workout, Ashley lingered after class. She seemed anxious, glancing over her shoulder as the last client left. She motioned for Matt to follow her into the equipment room, a small space crowded with weights and mats. Ashley leaned against a rack of kettlebells, arms folded. Her cheeks were pink, her eyes bright. "There's something you should know, None," she said softly. "Not everything here is what it seems." Matt frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" Before Ashley could answer, her phone buzzed. She checked the screen, her expression tightening, then quickly stowed it away. Matt tried to brush it off, but his curiosity was piqued. When Ashley turned away to grab her bag, he noticed a folded piece of paper fall from her jacket pocket. He picked it up and, unable to resist, unfolded it. The note was handwritten in elegant script. "You're doing well. Keep playing. Don't get attached. Remember our agreement. D. A chill ran through him. Who was D? Was it Daniela? Someone else? Ashley turned, noticing the paper in his hand. For a split second, fear flickered across her face. She snatched it back, stuffing it into her bag. Matt forced a smile, acting as though he had not read it. But questions churned in his mind. That night, he lay awake beside Daniela, who slept peacefully in a soft chemise, her breathing slow and even. He watched her in the moonlight, her figure outlined by the covers, the gentle curve of her hips, the fullness of her chest, the perfect arch of her back. Guilt gnawed at him, but so did desire. For Ashley, for adventure, for the unknown. The next day at the gym, Matt and Ashley moved through their session with unusual tension. She wore light grey leggings, a cropped black tank top, and a sky blue sports bra beneath. Her body was tense, her jokes forced. When their hands touched, the spark was still there. But now there was something new, a shared secret, a hint of danger. As the session ended, Ashley brushed her hair behind her ear, her green eyes searching his. "Do you trust me?" she asked quietly. Matt hesitated, then nodded. She leaned in close, lips nearly touching his ear. "Meet me tonight, after closing. Come alone." He agreed, heart hammering in his chest. That evening, Matt made excuses to Daniela, telling her he needed to stay late at work. She watched him from the kitchen, wearing a pale blue blouse and cream trousers, her makeup flawless, her hair shining. Her gaze lingered as he left, her lips pursed in thought. At the gym, Ashley was waiting in the empty studio, wearing deep purple leggings and a loose white tank, a black sports bra visible underneath. She looked both fierce and vulnerable. Ashley locked the door behind him. The world outside faded away. She reached for his hand, pulling him onto a pile of soft mats. They sat facing each other, knees touching. Ashley's hands were shaking. She traced her fingers up his arm, over his shoulder, then pulled him closer. Their lips met in a kiss, deeper, more urgent than before. Her hands slid under his shirt, her touch hot against his skin. Matt pressed her down gently onto the mats, his hand supporting her head. Ashley arched her back, drawing him closer, her thighs parting to cradle his hips. Her hands ran down his chest, exploring, learning. He could feel her heartbeat against his own. For a long moment, there was only the sound of their breathing, the heat of skin against skin. They moved together slowly, almost reverently, exploring the boundaries between desire and restraint, need and tenderness. Ashley guided his hands, letting him feel the curve of her waist, the softness of her thighs, the way her body trembled beneath his touch. They stopped short of the final act, holding each other in the dim light, letting the tension hang between them. Sweet, unbearable, perfect. Afterward, Ashley rested her head on his chest. "There's so much I want to tell you," she whispered. "But not yet." Matt kissed the top of her head. "I'll wait." But inside, He was not sure if waiting would be enough. The note from D. Ashley's secrets. Daniela's distant gaze. Everything seemed to swirl into a complicated dance he was only beginning to understand. When he finally got home, Daniela was awake, waiting. She sat in the armchair, wearing a silk robe over matching lace lingerie, her legs crossed, a glass of wine in her hand. She smiled, but her eyes were sharp. "Long day?" she asked. Matt hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah." Daniela studied him for a moment, then rose and crossed the room. She touched his face, her thumb tracing his cheek. "You can tell me anything," she said, softly. "Anything at all." Matt forced a smile and kissed her forehead. But the secrets piled up inside him, heavy and thrilling and terrifying all at once. In the days after his secret evening with Ashley, Matt's world changed in subtle but powerful ways. He went through the motions, work, home, gym, but felt as though he were floating above his own life, watching it unfold from a distance. His wife Daniela seemed even more attentive, greeting him at the door with a warm smile, her blue eyes searching his for answers he was not ready to give. One morning, as he was getting dressed, Matt caught Daniela watching him from the doorway. She wore a soft, rose-colored wrap dress, cinched at the waist to emphasize her curvy hips and full chest. Underneath, he glimpsed a hint of blush-pink lace, the bra molding perfectly to her generous bust. She leaned against the frame, arms crossed. "Are you happy, Matt?" she asked quietly. He hesitated, glancing down at his reflection. "I think so," he said. She smiled, but it was tinged with sadness. "I hope you're not hiding things from me. You deserve to be free." Matt's breath caught. For a second, he wondered if she knew more than she let on. He stepped toward her, wrapped his arms around her waist, and kissed her temple. "I'm just tired." "Too much work. The gym helps." She rested her head on his shoulder, the warm weight of her body comforting and familiar. But as he held her, his mind drifted to Ashley, to the tension of secret meetings, the sweet ache of anticipation, and the questions that gnawed at his mind. That evening, Matt arrived at the gym later than usual. The place was nearly empty, the fluorescent lights humming in the silence. Ashley was nowhere in sight. He wandered to the training area, searching for her, but instead found Travis, another trainer, older than Ashley, with a broad muscular build and intense brown eyes. Travis was dressed in tight black joggers and a fitted white tank top that showed off his sculpted arms. His hair was buzzed short, jaw squared by a few days' stubble. "Looking for Ashley?" Travis asked, voice neutral but cool. Matt nodded. "Is she here?" Travis smiled, but it did not reach his eyes. "She's around. Maybe she'll find you." Matt tried to leave, but Travis stepped closer, blocking his path. For a moment, the older man seemed to study him, as if weighing his worth. "You like it here, Matt?" he asked, his tone almost mocking. Matt bristled. "I like the workouts. Ashley is a good trainer." Travis grinned, showing even white teeth. "Good. Just remember, Not everything in this gym is as it seems. With that, he moved aside, letting Matt pass. Matt made his way to the locker room, his nerves jangling. He texted Ashley but got no reply. He decided to shower before leaving. The locker room was empty, steam rising from the hot water. Matt stripped off his clothes, tossing them in a neat pile on the bench. As he stood under the spray, he closed his eyes, trying to clear his mind. Suddenly, he heard voices, low, urgent, coming from the staff area beyond the lockers. He turned off the water, wrapping a towel around his waist, and crept closer. It was Ashley and Travis, their words muffled but intense. "He's getting too close," Ashley was saying. "I don't know how much longer I can do this." Travis replied, his tone hard. "You knew the rules." "He's just another client, Ash. Stick to the script. Don't make it real." Ashley's voice trembled. "But what if it is real? What if I want out?" Travis scoffed. "You want out? Then pay your dues. You know how this ends?" Matt's heart pounded. He stepped back, bumping into a locker with a loud clang. The voices fell silent. A moment later, Ashley appeared, her face pale, hair escaping from her ponytail. "Matt, what are you doing here?" He tried to play it cool. "Just showering. Heard voices. Everything okay?" Ashley forced a smile. "Yeah, just work stuff." Her eyes were wary, as if she wanted to say more but could not. Matt left the gym, mind racing. On his way home, he replayed the conversation, the fear in Ashley's voice, the threat in Travis's. Was he just a pawn in some twisted game? That night, Matt tossed and turned in bed. Daniela slept beside him, her form outlined by the moonlight. Her nightgown slipped from one shoulder, revealing a lace strap, the gentle curve of her chest rising and falling with her breath. He wanted to reach for her, to lose himself in her embrace, but guilt held him back. The next day, Matt received an anonymous message on his phone. "Check your locker. Trust no one." His hands shaking, Matt returned to the gym after hours. The locker room was empty. He found his locker and, inside, a plain envelope. He opened it to find a photograph. It was a shot of him and Ashley, together, laughing, her hand resting on his arm. But the date in the corner was from 3 weeks before he'd ever met her. Before he'd even joined the gym. His blood ran cold. He found another note inside. "You're part of the project. The game has always been bigger than you know." D. Who was D? Daniela? Someone else? Was his whole relationship with Ashley staged from the beginning? Matt felt dizzy with shock. He left the gym and called Ashley. She answered, her voice tight with fear. "Matt, I can't talk. They're listening. I never meant to hurt you." He pressed her. "Is this a game? Are you using me?" Ashley started to cry. "I didn't want it to be like this. At first, yes. It was just a job, a club experiment. But then you were different." That night, haunted by betrayal and confusion, Matt drank too much. He stared at his phone, scrolling through pictures of Ashley, her blonde hair loose around her shoulders, her body wrapped in form-fitting leggings and crop tops, the line of her sports bra visible beneath. He remembered the feel of her hands on his skin, the heat of her mouth on his neck, the way her body fit against his. In a blur, he remembered their last evening together, when Ashley pulled him into a darkened studio, their bodies pressed together on the mat, hands desperate, lips hungry. She wore a soft black sports bra and matching panties, her skin glowing in the dim light. He ran his hands along her sides, down to her hips, feeling the softness of her curves. Ashley's fingers tangled in his hair, her breath warm against his cheek. For a moment, they moved together in a dance of longing and restraint, bodies searching for solace, for truth. He remembered the trembling of her voice as she whispered, "I wish this was real." The memory made him ache. Was anything between them real? The next morning, Matt confronted Daniela over breakfast. She wore a sky blue silk blouse that shimmered against her skin, her hair pinned up in a loose knot. Her makeup was perfect, the delicate curve of her lips painted in soft rose. "Did you send me to that gym?" he demanded. She blinked, startled. "What? Did you sign me up? Are you... D?" She looked away, color rising in her cheeks. "Matt, you're not making sense." He pressed on. "Tell me the truth." She hesitated, then shook her head. "No, I didn't sign you up, but I was glad you went. You needed something new." Matt wanted to believe her, but doubt gnawed at him. That night, as he left work, he spotted a figure waiting by his car. It was Megan, the gym's receptionist, tall, with auburn hair and striking brown eyes, dressed in a tight white blouse and black pencil skirt that accentuated her long legs. She handed him a slip of paper and whispered, "You're not the only one. There are others. Trust no one." Before he could respond, she hurried away. Matt stared at the paper. It was a list of names. His, Ashley's, Travis's, and half a dozen others. At the bottom, Phase 2 begins tonight. D. His heart pounded. What did it mean? He drove home, nerves shot, feeling as though the world had tilted beneath his feet. Daniela greeted him in the hallway, her blue eyes searching his. He wanted to ask her everything, to demand the truth, but the words caught in his throat. That night, as he lay beside her, his phone buzzed. "Meet me. Midnight. Studio. Come alone." Matt stared into the darkness, knowing nothing would ever be the same. The city was silent as midnight approached, save for the low hum of traffic in the distance. Matt waited in his car, nerves taut. The gym's parking lot was nearly empty. Just one or two other vehicles lingered beneath the harsh sodium lights. His phone buzzed. "Come inside. Back entrance. Studio 3. Matt's palms were sweaty as he slipped through the side door, careful to avoid the cameras he had only just noticed existed. The hallways echoed with his footsteps. Studio 3 was at the end. A glass-walled room, mirrors reflecting the dim emergency lighting. Ashley stood near the far wall, her silhouette lit from behind by the streetlights beyond. She wore deep red leggings and a black crop top that clung to her figure, the delicate lines of a sports bra just visible underneath. Her hair was down, tumbling over her shoulders, and in the shadows, her green eyes glinted with nervous anticipation. She barely glanced at him as he entered, tension visible in the set of her shoulders. "You came," she said. "I had to," Matt replied quietly. "I need answers, Ash." Ashley paced in front of the mirror, arms wrapped tightly around her middle. "This isn't easy for me. You have to believe that. I was supposed to keep it all business, but then it got personal." Matt stepped closer, searching her face for truth. "Who is Dee? What is this project? Are you in danger?" Ashley's gaze dropped. She hesitated, then reached for his hand, squeezing it tightly. "It started as a test. The club behind this gym, they call it the program. They find couples in routine marriages, sign up one of them as a client, then..." She bit her lip. "Then they watch. They see what happens when temptation is introduced." Matt's mind raced. "So, I'm just a lab rat?" She shook her head fiercely. "Not to me. At first, yes, it was just an assignment. But you were different. You cared, you listened. I wanted it to be real." Tears shimmered on her lashes, but she blinked them away. Matt struggled to absorb it all. "And Travis? Is he part of it?" Ashley nodded. "He's one of the original members. He monitors us, makes sure we stick to the plan. If we cross the line, there are consequences. But I think he's losing control of the project. Some of us want out." A flicker of fear passed over her face. "You should know. Daniela was approached. She agreed to let you join. She wanted to see what would happen." The words hit Matt like a punch to the gut. "My wife set me up?" Ashley winced. She didn't know everything. She just thought it would shake up your routine, maybe help you both. But Dee is someone else, higher up. I've never even met them." Matt took a step back, dizzy with realization. Had his marriage become an experiment for strangers? Was everything a setup? Ashley stepped forward, taking his hands. "Matt, you have to choose. If you walk away now, they'll let you go, but we'll never see each other again. Or you can stay and try to expose the club, but it's risky. They don't like when the rules are broken." For a moment, neither spoke. Matt studied Ashley in the mirror. The soft curve of her hips, the outline of her bra beneath her top, the barest shimmer of her leggings over her toned thighs. She was beautiful, real, scared. She reached up, cupping his cheek with trembling fingers. He leaned into her touch, his forehead resting against hers. Their breaths mingled, hearts racing. Ashley's hands slid to his shoulders, pulling him close. Their lips met in a slow, yearning kiss, no longer fueled by lust, but by need, by trust. Matt's hands found the small of her back, feeling the heat of her body through the thin fabric. Ashley's fingers tangled in his hair. She pressed against him, her curves molding to his frame. Their kiss deepened, hunger giving way to something gentler, a quiet desperation. He guided her to the wall, bodies pressed close, their shadows fused in the mirror. Ashley's top rode up as Matt's hands explored her waist, the smooth skin beneath his palms sending a shiver through her. Her red leggings hugged every curve, and as she arched against him, the shape of her body was both invitation and promise. For a long time they moved together in silence, exploring each other with slow, careful touches. They did not rush, savoring each heartbeat, every inch of skin discovered. The tension and fear dissolved in their closeness. For those moments, nothing else mattered. When they finally broke apart, Ashley rested her head on his chest, breath unsteady. "I wish things could be different," she whispered. Matt kissed her hair. "I'm not leaving you alone in this." A sudden noise in the hallway made them freeze. Footsteps, heavy, deliberate. The door opened and Travis stepped inside, arms folded, his presence filling the room. He wore grey joggers and a sleeveless navy shirt, revealing a tattoo on his bicep. His eyes flicked between Matt and Ashley, cold and assessing. "So," Travis said, "you decided to play hero, Matt?" Matt squared his shoulders. "This ends tonight." Travis smirked. "You think it's that simple? You have no idea how deep this goes." Ashley stepped between them. "I'm done, Travis. I want out. Let us go." He shook his head. "It's not your decision. The club decides. Dee decides." Matt clenched his fists. "Then let me meet Dee. Let's end this." Travis considered them for a moment, then shrugged. "Fine. Dee wants to see you both. Tomorrow night. But don't expect any mercy." He turned and left, leaving the room colder in his absence. Ashley hugged Matt tightly. "Are you sure?" she whispered. He nodded, though fear knotted his stomach. "I have to know the truth." The next evening, Matt received a text. Address attached. One chance only. Come alone. D. He arrived at a stately brownstone in a quiet neighborhood, every detail pristine. A woman opened the door. Marissa, with copper hair that caught the hallway light, hazel eyes, and an inviting smile. She wore a fitted emerald dress, her voluptuous figure accentuated by the deep neckline and the subtle shimmer of silk beneath. A flash of black lace bra was visible when she turned, her hourglass shape both sophisticated and boldly sensual. "Matt, welcome. I'm Marissa. Please, follow me." She led him to a luxurious sitting room. Ashley and Travis were already there. Marissa gestured for them to sit. "Dee will join you soon," she said, pouring glasses of wine. Matt studied the room, hidden cameras in the corners, microphones in the walls. He glanced at Ashley, whose hand shook as she lifted her glass. After a few tense minutes, another figure entered. A woman in her late 40s, striking in her authority, with raven black hair in a sleek bob, a tailored charcoal suit skimming her athletic frame. Her posture was regal, her eyes cold. "I am Dee," she announced. "You want the truth? Here it is." She explained. The program was founded years ago, designed to test the boundaries of fidelity and desire. Couples were watched, tempted, manipulated. Those who passed were offered a place in the club. Those who failed cut loose. Matt's head spun. Why us? Dee smiled thinly. Because you fit the profile. Daniela agreed to let you be tested. She cares about you, but she wanted answers. Ashley was chosen for her empathy. Travis for his discipline. Marissa as our observer. Ashley interrupted, voice trembling. I'm done. I want my life back. Dee shrugged. Then walk away. But the project is never truly over. She handed Matt a folder. Inside were photographs. Every meeting with Ashley. Every text. Every late-night return home. Even images of Daniela meeting with Dee in secret. As Matt leafed through the evidence, a cold realization set in. Nothing in his recent life had been private. Marissa watched him, her green eyes soft with pity. You still have a choice, she said gently. You can expose us, or you can disappear, but the game never truly ends. Matt met Ashley's gaze. What do we do? Ashley squeezed his hand. We choose our own story, Matt. For once. Matt nodded, resolve hardening inside him. He stood, facing Dee. We're done with your project. Dee inclined her head, a hint of respect in her eyes. Then go. But remember, you were never alone. Outside the night was cool. Ashley slipped her arm through Matt's. Where do we go from here? She whispered. Matt looked up at the stars, 1,000 unanswered questions spinning in his mind. But for the first time, he felt free. The next morning, Matt woke in a haze of exhaustion and relief, sunlight filtering through the curtains of his small apartment. Ashley had fallen asleep beside him, curled beneath the blanket, her golden hair fanned across the pillow. She wore only a soft grey t-shirt and matching boy shorts, her slender figure half hidden by the sheets. One arm draped over Matt's chest. For a moment, it felt like a new beginning, a world stripped of secrets, filled only with quiet hope. But by mid-morning, reality intruded. His phone rang. It was Daniela. We need to talk, she said. Her voice was steady, calm. Matt agreed, knowing he could not run forever. He dressed quietly, Ashley watching him with wide, uncertain eyes. She sat up, the blanket slipping down to reveal her bare shoulders and the elegant line of her collarbone. Will you come back? She asked, voice barely above a whisper. He kissed her gently. I will. He found Daniela waiting at a corner cafe, dressed in a white blouse and pale blue skirt, her hair pinned back with silver clips. She looked as beautiful as ever, soft, strong, her eyes alert and searching. Under her blouse, Matt noticed the lace trim of a light pink bra, delicate against her skin, accentuating her full chest. She greeted him with a quiet smile, but there was tension in the way she held her coffee cup. I know everything, she began before Matt could speak. Dee told me everything about Ashley, about the project. I was angry at you, at myself, at them. Matt sat down, hands trembling. I didn't mean for this to happen. I thought I thought it was real. With you. With her. Daniela's gaze softened. It was real, and it was not. We were both caught in something bigger than us. I agreed to let you join the program. I told myself it was to save our marriage, to bring back the spark. But it was also curiosity. A need to know if you would stay or if you would stray. Matt looked away, shame burning in his chest. I'm sorry, Daniela. She reached across the table, laying her hand over his. Her nails were painted pale blue, matching her skirt. I don't blame you, or Ashley. I blame myself for letting strangers into our lives, but I needed to know who we were when no one was watching. They sat in silence, the city bustling around them. Finally, Daniela spoke again. I want a divorce, Matt. Not out of anger, but out of honesty. I think we both deserve a chance at something real, not a game, not an experiment. Matt felt the weight of her words, and for the first time, did not resist. He squeezed her hand, tears prickling his eyes. You're right. Daniela smiled, gently, sadly. We had good years. I'll remember them. They hugged before parting. Daniela's perfume lingered on his shirt, a reminder of all that had been and all that could no longer be. Matt walked the city for hours, trying to piece together what remained of his life. The program, Dee, Marissa, all of it seemed surreal, like a bad dream fading in the morning light. But Ashley was real. Her fear, her tenderness, the way she clung to hope, even as the world shifted beneath her feet. He knew what he wanted. He returned to the apartment. Ashley was packing, folding her leggings and sports bras into a small duffel. She wore a fitted teal tank top and tight black leggings. Her figure strong and graceful, her movements sure. She paused as Matt entered, uncertainty flashing in her green eyes. He crossed the room, pulling her into his arms. She melted against him, her head on his chest. He kissed her hair, her cheeks, her lips. Their embrace was soft at first, then fierce. Ashley's hand slipped beneath his shirt, exploring the familiar planes of his back, the curve of his waist. He cupped her face, tracing her jaw with gentle fingers. Ashley tugged him onto the bed, her body warm and pliant beneath his. Their lips met in a slow, searching kiss, desire blooming into tenderness. Matt traced the line of her thigh, feeling the firmness of muscle beneath soft skin, the curve of her hip under his palm. Ashley's breath quickened as he pressed kisses along her neck, down to the delicate edge of her sports bra. She arched against him, her body singing with need, but their movements were careful, reverent, a celebration rather than a secret. They undressed each other with quiet laughter, hands lingering, savoring every touch. When they finally joined, it was as if time stopped. No games, no scripts, just two people learning each other all over again. The world fell away, leaving only their hearts, their bodies, and the fragile promise of a future. Afterward, Ashley rested in his arms, her fingers tracing lazy circles on his chest. What now? She murmured. Fatwat smiled, brushing her hair from her face. We move forward, together, on our own terms. Ashley nodded, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. No more secrets. No more secrets, he promised. A few weeks later, Matt met with Marissa in a quiet park. She wore a sundress with a denim jacket, her copper hair catching the sunlight, her curves soft and welcoming. Marissa handed him an envelope, his official release from the program. "You're free," she said, her voice kind. "But remember, not everyone gets a second chance." Matt thanked her, grateful and relieved. He asked about Ashley's future, if she would ever be safe from the program. Marissa smiled. "She's strong and she's not alone." Matt returned to Ashley, who was waiting on a nearby bench, dressed in jeans and a white tank top, her blonde hair tumbling in the breeze. They walked hand in hand, laughing as the city stretched out before them, a promise of new adventures, new mistakes, new beginnings. That night, as they settled into bed, Ashley wore nothing but a loose grey shirt and pale pink panties, her body curled against Matt's. He watched her as she drifted off to sleep, her breathing slow and steady. For the first time in months, he felt truly at peace. In the morning, as Matt checked the mailbox, he found a small unmarked envelope. Inside was a single card, ready for a real workout. The signature was unmistakable, a looping, elegant D. Matt laughed, tearing the card in half. He turned to see Ashley waiting in the doorway, sunlight in her hair, hope in her eyes. He walked back to her, knowing that whatever the future held, mystery, chaos, or calm, they would face it side by side, not as subjects in someone else's experiment, but as their own story, finally begun.